this month we're talking about something that happened back in December, but just came on my radar. It's been done before, but never quite like what these guys are doing. The band Kiss is going holographic. Your thoughts?
Very weird since they're alive. Very weird. I see. So my thing with holographic concerts, my thing with that, I get it. I probably wouldn't do it, but I get it. Like I know ABBA's doing it. I know Winnie Houston's done it. I know a lot of these other artists have done it. But with those concerts, from everything I saw, it's the holographic vocalist, but then the band is live and the background singers are live. So you're basically getting a live band. You're seeing a live band, which is always awesome. But
You're
it's
just seeing a lip sync.
yeah, you're just seeing Whitney Houston as a hologram,
Right.
like, or hologram just lip syncing to her songs. Obviously, the appeal will probably wear off after a bit because there's no like camaraderie with the audience, like you can't like interact with them. But
Right.
I at least get it, like, because you see like it's no different really than seeing like a live band of like cover artists. It's no different than any of that. But this is just all like from everything I could tell, everyone's a hologram in this. So the entire thing is just a hologram. So the guitar's a hologram, the drum's a hologram, the singer's a hologram, like everything's a hologram. So what's the point? Why not just listen to their album or listen to
Or just throw a live show from 30 years ago up on a screen and let people pay to watch it.
Yeah, like that. Like again, I've seen live bands before where like this like obviously the singer might be lip syncing or anything or something like that, but it's a live band at least. This
Right.
I don't get the appeal. I don't get
There's
the appeal.
always reasons that lip syncing happens. Artist isn't feeling good, whatever. But to do a full holographic show that it's like, okay, every member of that band is a vocalist, every member of that band is part of that experience. It's kind of funny to look at that and say, well, yeah, these guys have been doing it for over 50 years. They're tired. They're wanting to do something different. But then why set something 4 years at that time, 4 years out, now 3 years out?
Yeah. Maybe the technology, I don't know, but it's weird because the technology doesn't seem to be improving. Like I've seen I remember when Michael Jackson at the Billboard Music Awards in 2014, it was a hologram of him doing Slave to the Rhythm. And that looked great. And I thought, okay, the advancements in this are going to be insane in the next decade. Like this is going to be incredible in the next decade.
But then you see what ABBA's doing, and it's like, wait, we're back in the 90s.
Yeah, it's like we're not going anywhere. We're going backwards, if anything.
Right.
This doesn't make any sense. Like you would think we get like these technological advancements, and we're really not getting them.
I love this first line by this Gizmodo article. Grandpa rockers kiss, finally hang up makeup brushes at their last show. Not the exact thing I would use, but okay, great hook line.
Yeah, I don't like it so like Kiss to be like Grandpa Rock. I just don't like Grandpa Rock to be like yacht rock almost, like late 70s. Like you think not like you think like the soft rock. You don't think Kiss, which appeal to teenagers.
Well, some of those teenagers are now grandpas.
Yeah, which is
that's the funny thing. I mean,
somehow like Kiss said like when I Was Made for Love You came out, they were like horrified because they realized like, oh crap, our audience is now like 10-year-olds.
Yeah. 50 years seems like a good run that they had. They're still a big draw. I mean, apparently they had sold out MSG. I mean, only a few people can say they've done that. Billy Joel's done it over almost 150 times now, but that's a little different. Speaking of Billy Joel, what did you think of CBS announcing that they were playing his 100th show, not his 150th show?
Yeah, I mean, it's what the 100th show of the residency, right? It's the 100th show. It's not like the 100th show he played all 150th show. So he's
it was so CBS. They filmed his 100th show of the residency.
Yeah,
and played it. I guess it was this weekend they played it. But he's fixing to do his 150th, which will be the final show at MSG.
Yeah.
And obviously 100, that's 50 months ago. Wait, we don't have the big new hit.
Yeah, we do not have that yet. But
yeah, I don't think CBS foresaw that happening.
I don't know though, because they had the because they are the Grammys, so they might have had some awareness of that. So I don't know, but
yeah,
I mean the reception of that hit's been phenomenal, which is awesome.
right.
It's a good song.
Yeah.
But I mean, more Billy Joel is good to me. More Billy Joel is always good to me. And I don't know how if he's gonna stop playing there. I think he's just gonna stop doing the once a month shows, but he'll still do stuff.
Yeah, he'll still do MSG. I mean, that's like backyard for him, right?
Yeah. He'll still do MSG, just not once a month. He'll still do those stadium shows. He's doing he's doing a tour with not a tour, but almost how he did like with Stevie Nicks. He's doing with Sting.
Yeah.
This year, which I'm looking forward to. It's not coming to Phoenix, but it's coming to Vegas. I might try and
You gonna try to go?
I might. It's tempting.
Now you saw him with Stevie Nicks, right?
Yes.
And when you saw him with Stevie Nicks, he hadn't done the new song, obviously.
Nope.
Are you ready to hear that live?
I am. Yeah. I mean, I've seen people like he hasn't done it he's done it live at every show since it came out,
right?
Which it just feels so
watching
weird.
him. I watched his entire show from the Tokyo Dome, which was one of the first concerts he had done it at, and it's like, that's cool.
Yeah, it's always one of my favorite moments with concerts is when you see an artist one time before, and then you see him a second time, and they're like a legacy act, and they have a new hit that they play, and it's like a massive song and everyone knows it. It's this weird feeling. Like Elton John, the first time I saw him, he didn't have Cold Heart with Dua Lipa. And then I saw him again and he had Cold Heart. And it's like, oh wow, I this is weird. I also saw Train, and Train was like a legacy act by this point. And then that song came out. And then that became one of their biggest hits. I was like, oh, this is bizarre.
Yeah, it's like if you saw Aerosmith in the 70s and then saw them in the 80s when they had that resurgence, it's like, wait, where'd this stuff come from?
Yeah. Yeah, it's almost like I'd imagine if you were a Cher fan, if you loved Cher in the 70s and the 80s and the early 90s, and you saw her in concert, and it's like, okay, this is we saw her peak. She's a legacy act at this point, but I love seeing her. And then she comes out with Believe in '99.
Yeah,
and it's like, oh wow,
where'd this come from?
Yeah, I love that when that happens to artists. I love that when you think they're a legacy act and you see them live before, and then they come out with a new song, and it's like a hit.
And mentioning Cher, she really had 3 careers, didn't she?
Right. Yeah.
She had her run with Sonny, then she had that solo career in the early 80s that was phenomenal. I mean, I have most of those albums. And then she comes out with Believe, and it's like, wait, I thought she was washed up.
Yeah. It's almost like same thing with Santana. It's like if you saw Santana back in the late 80s, early 90s, you're like, okay, great guitar player, but he's not getting any more hits. So I'm just
and then he comes, and then they do that
and then Smooth and Maria and all those other songs. Like, oh my goodness.
Yeah. Smooth is really what put Santana on the map for me. Yeah. I had never heard his original stuff. So
yeah.
But Smooth was a great song. I'm glad that these legacy artists realize, hey, new music isn't a bad thing.
Yep. I think it's tough because obviously you want to put out new music, but it's weird when you're in that when you're in that zone. That's gotta be the weirdest thing for an artist to be in. Where you're in that zone where it's okay, I have to tour. I love putting out new music, but I can't play this stuff unless it's a hit because no one came here to see it. If Elton John went on tour, and obviously like Cold Heart obviously was a massive hit. But if Elton John went on tour, his final tour, and he played the stuff from his most recent album, that's the bathroom break time. No one came.
No one's there to see that.
Yeah. So it's this weird thing where okay, I have to promote this. I love this new music, but at the same time, I can't promote it in concert because it's the worst part of the concert.
because you have one shot basically.
Yeah, it's like I want people to go to this concert to hear my songs, and like people were saying, like people were like, oh, I want to go to hear this new song that he has out,
Yeah. And
and
you
a lot
don't
of them
open
care,
up with brand new song. You play 5 or 6 hits, then say, "Hey, I got a new song." Play
everyone
that, and then go back to the hits.
yeah, everyone leaves during when we. The worst thing you can hear at a concert is a song is an artist saying, "This is off our brand new album." That's the worst thing you can hear at a
That's
concert.
when everyone's headed for the concessions.
Yep, that's when you know. Unless it's like unless it's an artist that's like popular, like that, like the new album did numbers. Like the last thing you want to hear if you're going to a concert from someone in, like I heard like when I was at like Huey Lewis and the News, like they did a like it was like this is off our newest album. It's like, oh, like okay,
Okay, we'll be
I can
listening
sit
from the
down for this one. You can
concourse.
sit down. I,
Hopefully, we can hear it from the concourse while we're standing in line for those
yeah.
concessions. Which is kind of funny because for me, I never went to concerts and left my seat.
Mhm.
Like it was like I'm at a concert. I'm there to watch the concert. I don't care. I'm there because I like the artist. I don't care if they play a new song or not.
Right.
But I do remember when we went to Nashville, I got to see Alabama live, and they they were doing newer stuff. Of course, this was in the late 90s. So they were still a big thing. Maybe not as big as they were in the 80s, but they were still a big deal. And Cheap Seats had just come out, which was their kind of ode to baseball.
Mhm.
And the coolest thing about that was they invited all the kids up on stage.
Wow.
And my mom actually has pictures of me. I started out standing by Randy Owens, the lead singer.
Mhm.
And by the time the song started, I was more over by Jeff Cook. And she's like, "Why did you move?" And I was like, "Because I love singing along with their songs." And where I was, I knew that I couldn't be heard
Mhm.
because Jeff's mics were that song. Jeff doesn't sing a lot. And I knew Jeff's mics were off.
That's clever.
So I moved and plus I admired Jeff for his ability to play. So it was a cool experience. And then they gave us all they were baseballs from a double A team that all of them had signed. So it's a cool memento that I have that it was really cool. But you know, I they played 3 new songs that night. I didn't care. I knew the songs because I had the album.
Yeah.
And that's the diehard fan. The casual fans are the ones like you're talking about. It's like, oh, new song. I don't want to hear this.
Yeah.
So you got to appease both, and it's a very fine balancing act for artists.
Yeah. For like the legacy artists, it's like if you're going to like I'm guessing like for people that go to like a Bon Jovi concert or U2 concert, you want to see
You
U2.
two at the Sphere, that residency. They said everyone just wants to hear them sing hits.
Yeah, and like Green Day's doing a tour in this fall and summer where they're playing the entirety of Dookie and American Idiot, and I'm assuming they're going to play their hits also. I'm assuming 99.9% of people don't want to hear their newest album that go to this. They're going there because we can hear American Idiot live.
They want to hear American Idiot.
Yeah, they want to hear those 2 classic albums live. They don't want to hear any of the new stuff.
Yeah. And that's where, stuff like what Kiss is going to be doing. Obviously, they're not going to be releasing any new music, but it's like say the tour comes through and you see it the first time, that means the next time they come through, they've got to change it slightly so that you're not seeing the exact same thing, because you're not going to put your money down on a ticket, especially when tickets are as expensive as they are. You're not going to sit there to watch the exact same show a second time.
Right. I mean, there are some artists that do the exact same thing, but they like it's a different vibe each night. It's a different vibe.
Right.
It'd be the exact same thing. it's almost like the big appeal for the Taylor Swift Eras tour. It's not just the fact that she's playing
She's the
all her
biggest selling
albums.
artist in the world right
Yeah,
now.
it's not like obviously like the tour was going to do numbers and sell out regardless, but the appeal also with that tour and why it's still hugely popular even a year later as it goes to like added shows and added legs while the ticket prices are still going up is because she will switch it up and do surprise songs. Like they switch it up. Like the only way you could do it is if you had a like with the Kiss show, if you did it where you have a select group of songs that are always in there, always in there. So you end with Rock and Roll All Night every time. Every time you end with Rock and Roll All Night. Every time you play Forever. Every time you play Beth. Every time you play Shout It Out Loud. Or you open with Shout Out Loud every time you play I Was Made for Love. So like there's a select like like the A list of songs that are always played. And then the rest are computer generalized. Where they do holograms for every song in their catalog or every like a select like 50 songs. You play 20 of them.
Yeah, I mean it's like obviously Billy Joel's not getting off stage without doing It's Still Rock and Roll to Me and Big Shot and Vienna.
Right.
But the rest of the show, you don't know what he might do. He may do Keep the Faith, he may not.
Right. You know, with Billy Joel, like it's similar like with the Garden, he likes switching it up with the shows across the country, not as much, but there are some changes. But you know that for Billy Joel, you know that his final song is in the main set will be Mike Del Gio's doing Nessun Dorma, then Scenes from an Italian Restaurant, then Piano Man. Then he'll go off stage and he'll play then We Didn't Start the Fire, Uptown Girl, You May Be Right, and Still Rock and Roll with Me. You know that's how he's gonna end every show. Which is fine, because that's a great way to end the show. But for the first 15 songs, you have no idea what he's playing. He could start with, like, I've seen him before. He starts sometimes with Miami 2017. He'll sometimes start with Prelude, Angry Young Man. He started off the show I went to last time with My Life. He could start with a lot of different things.
The interview that SiriusXM did with his band without Billy around, they said one of the band members said very first show he ever did with Billy, for some strange reason, he started with Piano Man.
Wow. It's actually back in the day. This had to be like years ago.
This is like
he used to do Piano Man like second or third. Like he used to do it like that was back in the 80s.
And it's like, and the band member said to one of the other guys, he's like, is it like this every night? He's like, no, it'll never be like this again.
Like it's like looking at like old set lists, like Bon Jovi. They sometimes like back in the 2000s, they started their shows off with Living on a Prayer. And like,
it's like, why do you start with your biggest hit? You finish with your biggest hit.
Yeah, it's almost like I saw Bryan Adams live, and he was great live. He was incredible. But like the sixth song he played was Everything I Do It For You. That was the sixth song he played. And then like 5 songs later, he did Heaven. Or it might have been the other way around. And then he did 90 minutes into the show, Summer of 69, or 80 minutes into the show, Summer of 69. And then you saw this mass exodus of people leaving. He still had 30 minutes left in the show. He didn't do an encore.
They've heard everything they wanted to hear.
Yeah, it was like, why didn't you end with Summer of 69? And like he still had hits. Like he still like played Cuts Like a Knife afterwards, All for Love. Like he played all that. But like you would think that Summer of 69 would be the end.
Yeah.
It's like, no, it's like the middle. Like people like, obviously like people know Bryan Adams for like a bunch of different songs, but the 3 main songs that most people know nowadays are those 3. You played them all and you still have a third of the show left. And it wasn't like it's like an encore or anything. It was like, okay.
It's kind of like Garth Brooks in the 90s. He always ended the show with Billy Joel's You May Be Right.
Yeah.
And if he hadn't played that, no one left. And so there's been times where his guitarist will start playing it's the song that it talks about putting basically no hanky panky till you marry me.
Oh, that's from Georgia Satellites.
Yeah, Georgia Satellites.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
So his lead guitarist really loves that song, and he'll go on stage during what Garth called a reset break, like they would reset some stuff, mainly pyro, but he would go out there and play that. Well, it was captured when they did Reunion Arena for the original CBS special. This is Garth Brooks, and it's on YouTube, but it's one of the rare things you can find of Garth on YouTube. But he's like, at the end of it, he's like, good night. And like, no one leaves because they know that he's coming out for You May Be Right.
Yep.
And it was just so different to see that. But people know how artists end shows, especially when those artists televise their shows. And it's like all three, like Garth televised 3 shows. All 3 shows ended the same way. Then he goes to Ireland, does the Ireland shows, ends it the same way. So now it's like, you ain't leaving a Garth Brooks concert unless he's played that song.
Yeah. I forgot that he went to Ireland because that got he tried to do that before and it got canceled. Because I remember like there was a great documentary I watched.
So what happened was he sold out this one stadium over there, and it was in the Ireland has neighborhood stadiums. So like the stadium surrounded by old neighborhood.
Yeah, that's
a soccer stadium.
Yeah.
So he sells it out. So they're like, well, let's do another night. He sells it out for 3 nights in a row. And then the town council was like, no more. And so he decided, well, what if we don't sell tickets? And they're like, no. So that was the whole controversy with that. And that's why they canceled shows. He's like, well, then we'll sell the first night. Everyone else that bought tickets for the second and third night, we're going to give those away. They let anybody in to those nights because he didn't need the money, basically, is what he said. I mean, you think about it, Garth's set for life. He doesn't have to tour, but he tours because he wants to.
Yep. Wow, he looks like he's having a great time on stage every time.
Huh?
He looks like he's having a great time on stage every time.
Yeah. Some people said he was jacked up on coke half the time, but he's denied that. Just his energy, and someone he contributes or says inspired him to do the shows he did was Chris Ledoux. And for those that don't know who Chris Ledoux is, he was a country singer, but he is also a bareback rider for the rodeo, national champion at that. And Garth opened for Chris one night and goes out, does his standard set, had what he thought was a great show, sitting in his dressing room and starts hearing feedback and like, why, what's going on with audio? So he goes out to the side of the stage and here comes Chris Ledoux up on an elevator riding a mechanical bull doing 8-second ride. And it's like, oh, that's the energy I need. So that's what catastrophically changed his approach to the live show. The live show wasn't just there to be a representative of the album. It was there to entertain the fans. And that's why he was considered, that's why he's the one entertainer of the year so much. That's why he won entertainer of the year at the AMAs and said, no, I don't deserve this, because he was humble about it and thought other artists deserved it. But I agree that the concert is there as a form of entertainment. It's why we watch football. That's why we watch basketball. That's why we watch baseball. It's entertainment to us. If you're just going to do the same thing over and over again, there's no reason to do it because no one's going to pay to see it multiple times.
Right. And plus, I would assume it gets boring for the artists too to just do the same thing over and over again. I would assume like you want to switch it up. Like I don't know how some of these artists, like Ellen John, like I love the guy. but he did his tour, that like 5 year, 6 year tour, and every single show was the exact same in
Yeah.
terms of the exact order of the songs. And I've been switching up the order. But like
Yeah.
I saw him multiple times because like I love the guy and it was his last tour and he's incredible. But
It
I
was
just
the
think people
same.
get boring.
It was the same thing, but that every time you saw him, it was the same show.
Yeah, I just feel like
Um,
they get very very boring.
yeah, like George Strait. George Strait used to get criticized because they're like, you just stand up there and sing. He's like, that's all I have to do.
Yeah,
Whereas people like Mariah Carey and Miley Cyrus, Taylor Swift, they have to do they have all this choreographed dance because they know that that's what people want from them.
mm,
And it's like if you're just doing a computer generated image of an artist like Kiss is going to do, like ABBA's doing, like others have done, how are you entertaining the crowd other than just standing up there and singing when they're expecting you to be entertaining them, not just singing your songs?
right. And like there's no feedback and like a lot of artists like they get energy off the crowd. Like
Right.
that's part of what makes it like
I mean,
some
how many
some
times have you seen an artist call an audible on what song they're going to do because the energy of the crowd says, no, we're not doing that song next?
oh yeah.
Billy
Uh,
Joel, I can think I've heard has done it very,
he'll put songs
very
up to
many
vote.
times.
He'll literally put songs up to votes where like he says, okay, I have this song, I have this song, and we'll
We'll
vote.
vote. Yeah. Yeah. The female in his band that does percussion,
Yeah. Oh,
she
she's
says it drives her nuts too,
yeah.
because she's like, but she knows it's like, okay, we're going to vote on these songs going into it.
Mhm.
So she kind of knows what to expect.
Yeah, and like they'll read signs and we'll do songs based on like the signs people hold up. Like Bruce Springsteen's done that many times where he just reads like he sees signs in the crowd, does songs based on that. Like he'll do like Santa Claus is coming to town in June if like he sees a sign that says it. Brian
Yeah.
Adams did that too, where he like just read signs in the
Randomly.
crowd and like took suggestions.